Hello guys, and welcome back to the Football Draft podcast with myself and Ben. James isn't here today, so that's why you're hearing my voice instead of his. So thanks for joining us today. Make sure to follow us on our Twitter, on Spotify, and our YouTube channel where we upload full versions of our podcast. Today we are talking about Man United, Arsenal, and Manchester City in their recent games this game week. So Ben, let's start off with Man United. What did you think of the game against Tottenham?
Very, very good game. I was delighted with it. The first half concerned me a little bit. Didn't seem to get going, but it seems to be a pattern this season where as soon as we go down, we come out in the second half and we're just so much better that we just start playing. And I don't know, it was great. I think everyone in the second half performed really well. I couldn't really pick a man of the match myself, but I was really impressed with Cavani mainly. I thought his movement up there was crucial to the win and one of the reasons why we were able to come back and get that important win. But, you know, the first half, you saw we scored a goal which was ruled out. But to me, I thought that was a joke. It looked like a perfectly good goal. Son going down way too easily.
VAR is a massive topic of discussion, isn't it?
Exactly. Every single week, there's always something wrong. I mean, this weekend especially, there was so many offsides that were a joke, and then for this to happen as well, it's just making me question the whole point of VAR anymore.
Oh man, well listen, we'll get onto that later, but I just think Comeback FC, the most points after going 1-0 down in the league, it's just crazy. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird game. First half, as you say, we weren't amazing, but I just think it's more to be admired, I think, rather than scoring, because, you know, it takes a certain manager to get your players back up and running again and, you know, to get them firing on all cylinders again. So, I mean, credit to Ollie for getting them to that stage. I think the substitution of Mason Greenwood at the 70th minute for Rashford was very good. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, you know, why are we subbing Rashford off when we're looking for a goal? But, you know, once again, Ollie uses his substitutions wisely, you know, and gets the result that really we deserved after the whole VAR incident and what had happened during the game.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you saw that when he came on. In the last 20 minutes, he got an assist and he got a goal. And that's the type of impact that we know he's capable of. Obviously, this season, people have tried to criticise him for the lack of goals. But like Ollie said, that there's other parts of his game where he's improved over this season. And that assist to Cavani was a prime example of that. There's been loads of times this season where I've seen his crosses into the box, and for someone that is more a lethal finisher and stuff, for him to have that ability to just put a cute ball into the box, I thought it's very encouraging to see, and I think he'll only improve, and I think the goals will come, like Ollie said.
Yeah, they absolutely will, man. It's great to see Cavani's influence in Greenwood. You can really see that. There was a clip I saw on Twitter the other day, where it was Cavani sort of instructing Greenwood to hit a ball earlier, because he'd hit a ball to him before and it didn't work. And then about a couple of minutes later, Greenwood hits a first time pass and it goes in the back of the net. And you know, I think that type of influence is what United have been missing for a couple of years now. You know, Cavani is not going to play week in, week out. We know that, but I think his influence on the younger generation, you know, those coming through, even Rashford there, you know, and Greenwood especially, that his influence on them is really evident. So I think he's going to go in the summer. You know, it's a pity that, you know, he might, but I just think that that influence will be missed. And you've seen, you know, especially Cavani's movement in the final third and in the box. He's the only one sort of making runs when others aren't. You know, he's a proper out and out goal scorer, and he's a poacher. You know, that goal is a poacher's goal. That header, that flying header, and it just really it was a really, really good goal. So yeah, I just think their relationship this season, I think, is ultimately going to bring out the best in Mason Greenwood, and I just hope that I just hope that he succeeds at this club. He's 19 years of age, and he's playing like a 25-year-old. So let's just hope he continues.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, like you said, Cavani isn't going to be playing week in, week out. But I think, to me, it's still important that we try to keep him for next season. because his impact on the young strikers coming up, the young attackers with Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, his impact on them will be vital, and it can really improve them leaps and bounds. And I think like you said, it's already shown on Greenwood and Rashford, and I think it's only going to be a positive, even if he doesn't play as much even next season as he has this season. I still think his presence around in the training ground and in the changing room and just in games, and I think it's just crucial that they have that around them, that experienced proper number 9 that's had an amazing career. I just think that is so important for their development.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I just think Cavani being as old as he is, that goal that should have stood. That VAR decision, I think we can get a bit onto VAR now. That goal is just an excellent goal, and it shows you Cavani's skill really evidently. I just think it's an absolute disgrace that didn't stand. I mean, a lot of people criticised Ollie for his comments after the game, but I mean, he's using analogies, but he's absolutely right. A player runs like that. He would have run like that. Other players run like that. I mean, you saw the elbow that Aurier received from Pogba, and that's not a foul. Whereas, you look at the likes of this with Scott McTominay against, it's not a foul either. And I heard a lot of people saying about how when the referee goes over to the VAR box and watches it up close, that he kind of has to give it. Because he's gone over and reviewed it. There is contact, but football's becoming like bloody basketball. This is a contact sport. You're going to rub shoulders with people. You're going to. But and that's a disgrace for Son to be lying down for 3 minutes after receiving a wee light tap on the face. Like, God, I hope he's okay. Like, God, it's annoying.
It is. I mean, and also when they go to review on the monitor at the side of the pitch, they always make it look a lot worse than it was. Mm-hmm. They always keep it to a really short clip, and they always put it in slow motion. So it always just looks worse than it is. Like, it's just frustrating because if you saw the full clip, you saw that Son was actually trying to grab hold of him first. Yep. And as any player does, they just put their arm out anyway just to try to brush them off. There was no intent to hit Son in the face.
No, there's not.
It's just so happened. And the fact is, he didn't even hit him hard. It was just like a little tap, and then that was it. And it's just frustrating because, like you said, it was such a good goal. The pass from Pogba, the run from Cavani, and the first time finish, it was just amazing. So it was so annoying to see, and then for Son to lie on the ground for 3 minutes, asking for teammates to help him up, and then for him to score like 3-4 minutes later, that was like the point for me where I was just getting so mad at the game. And
man, I mean, you go on about this Man United team and how you've seen games, that you think, oh God, we're way off it and we're never capable of winning titles. That is a title-winning performance that we saw against Spurs. That is the type of performance that, you see the way the players bounce back from injustice. And that's the type of performance that I would have seen under Sir Alex. It's that willingness to get back into the game, doing whatever it takes. And I think really, and which leads me on to another topic of discussion, I think that Pogba was instrumental in that. I think that Pogba really showed what he's really good at, that hold-up play, that ability to find a key pass, that ability to get into spaces. Match of the Day made a really good point about how Pogba always found himself in pockets of space, and instead of hitting the ball backwards when there was no other options, he tried to find an option, and using his skill, actually found that pocket of space, ran through it, and made things happen. That's the type of skill in our midfield that we've been lacking for a long time. And I think that, especially for the couple of weeks that Pogba was injured there, we really missed that. McTominay can't do that. Fred can't do that. And to be honest, I found in recent games, now he's my favourite player, but Bruno sometimes isn't capable of that. That's why it's instrumental for us, I think, that Pogba stays at this club, because we need that type. We can't afford to let go of that type of player, because it'll be north of 100 million before we're able to get another player that's even remotely like that. So I think we'd be remiss to to argue that we cash in on Pogba. I remember I don't remember whether it was on this podcast or whether it was someone else, but that I think it was the episode with Gaz. He asking about do you cash out on Pogba? I said yeah. I said maybe you cash out on Pogba, but there's an option C that I didn't really talk about, was try and keep him at the club, and really that's where I stand. I think Pogba needs to stay at this club because we have no other player like him, and we won't be able to get another player like him at least for a long time. So I mean, I don't know where you stand on that issue.
No, I agree with you 100%. He's the type of player that we have to try to keep hold of. I've seen people before try to say, "Oh, we don't need Pogba anymore. We've got Bruno, and then we can introduce Van de Beek more." But to me, like you said, Pogba does things that no one else at the club can do in the midfield. Even Bruno, even though how good he is and how world class he's been for the club, there's certain things that he does that maybe that Pogba can't do. And there's things that Pogba does that Bruno can't do. So they're both very, very important to the team, and they both are the reason why our good form is as it is, and the reason that as soon as Pogba came back, instantly we started to look a whole lot better and a lot more controlled in the midfield area. Because like you said, Fred and McTominay, they just can't do the same as what Pogba can do. So I'm the same as you. Pogba is someone that we definitely have to try to keep because he's just way too important. Because we saw when he was injured that we did miss him a lot.
We really did. Yeah. But we talked about Mason Greenwood there. Again, it's a bit of a side issue, but I thought for the benefit of our listeners, you mentioned about the youth there. Greenwood, as I say, we all know is a generational talent, but that comes from what Ollie has done with our youth setup. And I think that the youth coming through at the minute is really good. If you want to hear more about the academy at Man United, me and Ben are actually working in a collaboration with United Journal, and we are doing a series over on their YouTube channel called Academy Review, where we talk about United's under-18s, under-23s, low and watch, looking at who's out and who's coming in, and we have this whole series. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description for their YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out to hear more about the academy over there. But yeah, so enough about United. What did you make of the other games this week? A lovely 2-1 defeat to City. It was lovely to see my boy repping for Northern Ireland, Stuart Dallas. What a legend. What did you think of the game?
Oh, it was fantastic to see. It was a great start to the weekend. Because to me, I was like, this is where City will probably basically stamp one hand on the title if they won yesterday. And then when Leeds went 1-0 up, I didn't want to get over the top. I didn't want to become really confident that it was going to happen because you know what City are like. They can just come back at any moment. And then when the red card happened to Cooper, I was like, oh dear, this is what it's going to go downhill, and City are going to come back and win 3 or 4-1. And then City got. But the thing is with City, when I watched them, they had so much of the ball in the second half that they scored that one goal, but they didn't really seem to put as much of a threat that I thought they would, considering Leeds were down to 10 men and they were the home team. And it just kind of baffled me because I thought that it was basically a certainty that after the red card they were going to go and win the game. And then obviously it was reaching near the end and I was like, it's going to be a 1-1 draw. And then you see a beautiful through ball, Stuart Dallas running in behind, scoring again. And I don't think I've celebrated that much for a while just to see Man City
for a Leeds goal especially. Yeah. I mean, I didn't get watching the game actually. I was out at that time, but I just think for someone to beat City at this stage, in the Premier League, it is telling. Is there something? Are City beatable? Technically they are, yes, because Leeds beat them. But could this lead to something? I saw a stat there the other day about the fact that similarities to from this year to the season where City stole it from United. There's similarities. They were 8 points behind at this time. All this coincidental stuff, and I just think title challenge still on, but no, I just think it was a weird one. I saw on Sky Sports it was a red card to Leeds, and I thought, oh right, okay, it'll be a 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, given the fact of how United performed against them earlier in the season. But are Leeds now kind of ones to watch coming towards the end of the season? Are they is Bielsa really kicked them up the arse and going to get a few results out of them, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually liked Leeds this season. It seems to be that whenever they play, there's always going to be goals. The way that Bielsa sets them up, he doesn't care how they win. Even if it's like a 4-3, he'd rather a 4-3 win than a 1-0 win. So
yeah, I mean,
I've always liked watching them this season.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to, you always get goals, whether it's in their net or the other one. You look at our game, 6-2, it's absolutely crazy. McTominay banging in 2. It's just mental. There's always goals. But I think they could get a few good results towards the end of the season, I hope. So but yeah. It was a very good game, and it was good to see City drop points. So if there's any hope for United, it's there. But yeah, and James couldn't join us today, but I'm sure he'd be jumping with joy for his 3-0 win. What did you make of that game?
It was kind of expected. Obviously, Sheffield United are having a really awful season, and then Chris Wilder leaving a while ago. I mean, I think that didn't help at all. So to me, it just seems like whoever plays Sheffield United now, it's pretty much a guaranteed 3 points. But it's nice to see Arsenal still in that mid-table era, even after a win. I think that's where they're meant to be at the moment. They're a mid-table team to me.
Yeah, tops. Who said top 6? I don't know. No top 6 for Arsenal. They're a mid-table team. But they're just chilling down there in 9th place. We're just sort of asking them how's the weather down there, so it's great to see. But I mean, where do you stand in this whole Arteta debate? Do you think do you think if the Europa League doesn't go anywhere that he'll get the sack? Did they? I don't remember the result of was it Arsenal and Slavia Prague? What was the end up of that game?
It was 1-0. So Slavia Prague have an away goal, so it's advantage Slavia Prague at the moment.
There you go. Right.
But on your question about Arteta, it's a tough question because you don't actually know where he can take them, but then at the same time, it's like if you get rid of him, who could they bring in now? Because I feel like if they get rid of Arteta, then the attraction of the Arsenal job will just decrease. But James certainly is under the impression that he should be given time, even if they don't win the Europa League this season, and obviously they're not going to reach 6th or 7th place to even get Europa League spot anyway in that league. So they could be without Europe next season, but I feel like he should at least get this summer, see what business he can do in the window. I'm sure he'll know.
But would you not, on the Arsenal board, would you not think, for me personally, I know he's won an FA Cup, right? But what has he actually done? What business? Who's he brought in? Has he got Arsenal playing any better? Are they progressing as a football club, or are they the way I think they are? I think they're going backwards. So, what has he actually done to deserve more time?
The biggest thing I feel like I've seen him do, which has just failed completely, is he got Aubameyang to sign a new contract. But as you've seen this season, if you think about it, he was actually better when his contract was expiring. To the point now, as soon as he signed a new contract, he hasn't been the same as he was in the past seasons. This has been his worst run at Arsenal in terms of goals scored. And James said it last time out, his whole attitude and his whole body language, he just doesn't seem to care anymore, and he seems to think that I don't think he wants to be there.
No, 100%. And my opinion on the thing is that Aubameyang, when he's actually not scoring goals, and here's something that I'll bring to you. When Aubameyang's not scoring goals, he doesn't offer anything to that Arsenal side. Really, he doesn't add a whole pile. Whereas when Cavani isn't scoring goals, he offers absolutely loads. whether it's mentoring the young players who are playing alongside him, whether it's his influence in the dressing room. He offers so much for him as a striker, and he doesn't even play every week. Aubameyang is their number one starter, so I assume he's first on the team sheet every week. So what else, apart from the odd goal, which doesn't seem to be happening very much nowadays? Lacazette's scoring more than at the minute he's on a better run. But what actually does Aubameyang offer the team at the minute? Aubameyang's a top player. He's capable of more than this. So I just wonder, is he done with Arsenal? Does he want out? Or and that leads me on then to a contract extension. How can you praise Arteta for that when this is what you get through his extension? Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. I mean, I think it was the same with Mesut Ozil. He signed a new contract and then he just seemed to go backwards and then he left. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happened to Aubameyang. He signed a new contract. He's having a really bad season. Even now he's not scoring. Like I said, he's not offering anything to the team. He doesn't look like he wants to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this summer he tries to force his way out, similar to what I feel Harry Kane will do with Tottenham. I think he'll want to leave. So it could be a bad summer for Arsenal if they lose Aubameyang and then they don't get anyone in even close to the caliber player, because regardless of Aubameyang's season, like you said, he's still a top-class player. And that's just looking back at his goal-scoring records, his career. It's obvious about the type of player that he is. So
absolutely.
It will be bad if he leaves, regardless of the bad season he's having. And they will need to try get good cash for him to then be able to replace him in the summer. So I don't know. With Arteta, it's really hard to say whether he should stay or go.
Oh, I'll make it very simple for you, lad. Go. I mean, listen, I just don't think. I think he's had his time. I think that Arsenal need to go in a new direction now, because they are more of a mid-table team now this season than they've ever been. I think they have higher standards than that. I think that I personally don't like them as a club. I don't like the way they play football at the minute. And of course, many say that about United, but that's just me. I think they need a fresh start. I think they need someone to come in. It's a question of who, of course, but I just think you need someone to come in, do a complete revamp, have a good transfer window. Realistically, I think for Arsenal, you need someone who's going to come in with an open checkbook and just buy who they should buy, because I mean, I've said it in previous weeks, and I don't really think you can. People will disagree with me, but feel free. I just don't think they have enough quality in their team. I actually don't think they have quality players. Saka is obviously great, and Aubameyang on his day can be good, and Lacazette's okay. But other than that, I don't really see that much quality in their team. Not even at a top four level. I'm not on about winning trophies or anything, but for a top four side, for a top six side, in quotation marks, they just haven't got enough quality in their team. I think United have been constantly criticised by their squad depth and their quality of players, but they've got twice the quality that Arsenal have, and James would tell you that himself. So I just think that they need someone to come in with an open checkbook and a new manager. They need a fresh start. They need a reset button.
No, I agree. A way that I just thought about looking at it is if you backtrack a few years ago, if this was Arsene Wenger in this position, they'd be calling for him to go on, and Arsene Wenger is the best manager Arsenal have had. So that's the way I look at it, is that if it was Arsene Wenger, they'd be calling him to go. So I think they shouldn't try to change their attitude just because it's Arteta, because I feel like they are trying to be maybe a little bit softer on him. The way that I think Chelsea fans were on Lampard just because he used to play for them and stuff like that. And maybe Man United fans like myself, I think, are a bit like that with Ole, but at the same time, you have to be realistic. If your team aren't performing, if it doesn't look like you're going anywhere, then you just have to let them go. And that shouldn't change anyone's opinion on him as a player or anything like that, or what he did at Arsenal. But it just happens to be that the time he went to be his manager just wasn't the right time. They just didn't have the right team, and they just do need someone with a bit more experience to try to get them out this trouble, because Arsenal shouldn't be a mid-table team. But just the way they are right now, that's the best they can really achieve at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be an interesting debate and could be a future podcast episode, you know, in Arteta versus Ollie, about what they've both accomplished for each side, why, you know, and to me, really, I think that Ollie's accomplished more, while he hasn't won anything, really, he hasn't won any trophies. He's progressed Man United so much that, and I think you'll agree with me, this is the best Man United team since Sir Alex left. You know, definitely. You know, and I think we're looking at Europa League aspirations, and there was a title chase on for for so long. So I think really that I'm Arteta out. I am not an Arsenal fan, so I don't really care. You know, but I mean, listen, I just think his time's done. But listen, we could talk for hours and hours about Arsenal's plight, but I think we'll leave it there. Lastly, I just think I wanted to cover the Champions League and Europa League games coming up this week. So I believe it's Bayern and PSG and Porto and Chelsea. Now at the time of recording, we are recording on a Tuesday. So this will be out. The games will be out tonight. So what do you think of them, Ben?
I think the Chelsea are comfortable. They're 2-0 up. They've got 2 away goals. So, barring any total collapse and miracle from Porto, that'll be Chelsea through to the semi-finals. And PSG Bayern, it's 3-2 to PSG. After the first leg, PSG have got 3 away goals. And even though it's still close, only 3-2, I back PSG to squeeze through it. I think they showed in the first leg Mbappe's true quality, that he can perform at the highest level against arguably the best team in Europe at the moment, maybe bar City. So I back PSG to squeeze through. What do you think of the 2 games?
Chelsea are going to get through. I think against Porto, but I want to say Bayern. I think people are very quick to rule out Bayern Munich, and I know they're missing Lewandowski, but they are an unreal side, arguably best side in the world still. And I mean, I know everyone's saying PSG at the minute because they're the informed team, but we're talking here about European champions. You know, Bayern Munich, they're amazing, and I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, it's 3-2, so if they score twice, they're grand. You know, and I think the Bayern have a good enough defence to cope with it. I know obviously things didn't go their way last week, but I don't know. I think Bayern are capable of shocking people. So you all listening will know whether I'm right or wrong. So that'll be an interesting one. Europa League. So we have Man United and Granada, and we have Arsenal and Slavia Prague. So what do you think?
I see Man United going through. Same as Chelsea, they got 2 away goals in the away leg. So that was crucial. I think Ollie might rotate the squad a little bit. Maybe give Ahmad more of a chance maybe to start, or at least get more minutes. Maybe he'll try and introduce maybe Shortire again. So I'm excited for that, to see if he plays some of them. But I still think we'll win the game anyway on the night. And with Arsenal, thing is, with the home game, because it was 1-1 and Slavia Prague have an away goal, I actually find it hard to try find a way that Arsenal could go through, because if they can take advantage in the home leg, then it's kind of all or nothing now in the away leg. So, and Slavia Prague have actually been an underrated team, I think, in this competition. You have to remember that they knocked out Leicester. They came through 2 high-scoring games against Rangers. And now if they can knock out Arsenal, then I think they could be a team to watch. So, I don't know. It's a tough game, but I'm more edging towards Slavia Prague just because of their away goal that they managed to get at the Emirates.
What's your score prediction for that game? Are you thinking a 2-1, 3-1 Slavia Prague? What are you thinking? Oh, like overall?
Yeah, overall, I think it could finish 1-0 to Slavia Prague on the night, so it'll be 2-1 on aggregate.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I was see at the same time. I think it would be a discredit to Arsenal to rule them out as well. So I'm going to go United, obviously, because they're going to win, and they're going to win the Europa League. Mark my words. It's going to be an Arsenal win. I think they're going to win 2 or 3-0. Could be a 3-1. I don't know whether that. So could be a 3-2 overall, maybe a 4-2. Something like that. Arsenal's defense is something to be questioned, but at the same, I just think they'll score more. So I reckon Arsenal will go through. And then, it's just about moving forward then into the semi-finals of Europa League. We'll win it. United will, mark my words, we will win it.
I think so too. I think, no question, we're just better than everyone else left in the competition. It's simple as that. We've just got too much quality.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. And let's see next week if we got our predictions right with the teams going through. But I think that'll be all for today on the football draft. Obviously, we're missing James, but he'll be back next week. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter at TFD2021. We'll link to that in our descriptions anyway. And be sure to check out our episodes on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. And we'll just see you guys next time.
Perfect. And lads, make sure to follow me, Ross W United 18. I heard the account is absolutely massive. It's class. So give us a wee follow there, and sure, we'll see the crack.